don't by chance know how many rounds your gun held?
It's been loaded from years ago.
So you don't go gun practicing?
I used to.
She told detectives,
You don't by chance know how many rounds your gun held?
It's been loaded from years ago in the safe.
her tone was even almost rehearsed. The detective didn't push right away. He just asked.
Go gun practicing?
She replied, I used to, like 10 years ago.
Okay.
She wanted to sound detached from the weapon, like it wasn't really hers. But her words did something else entirely. They placed her in control of the gun, the memory, and the trigger. But before we jump in any further to this case, we want to thank law enforcement for providing us the complete footage of this case. And this is actually the first time when you're going to see some aspects of the case which have never been seen before. Welcome back to Dr. Frankenstein. I may not have many followers, but your single comment is a ray of hope for me. It was the night of October 30th, 2021, in Orange Park, Florida, a quiet suburban evening with mild autumn air settling over Plymouth Court. Inside the Golson home, the atmosphere was anything but calm. Melissa and her husband, David Golson, had been arguing for hours, their voices rising and falling through the house. Around 10 p.m., frustration tipped into tragedy. Melissa went to the gun safe, pulled out a .380 semi-automatic pistol, and slipped it into her pocket. When the argument reignited, she drew the weapon. The first trigger pull clicked, no round chambered. David ran toward the garage, but Melissa followed, loaded the gun, and fired multiple shots, striking him in the abdomen. As rain began to mist outside, David collapsed and died on the garage floor. Melissa left his body there overnight, watched television, and slept on the couch before confessing the next morning to her sister, who drove her to the Clay County Sheriff's Office. So, in today's video, we will not only focus on Melissa's statement, her sister's shocking revelation, truth spoken by David's ex-wife, and harsh realities told by their pastor to have a better idea of what actually went wrong on the October 30th, 2021. Let's dive into Melissa's interview.
So we're going to talk about everything. I want to hear anything you have to say. Get your side of things. Tell me about you. Before we even start talking, I am going to read you what's called Miranda rights, because based on some of the questions and things we're going to talk about, I just need you to make sure you're aware of your rights, okay? Because you are in a police station, you're going to be asked some things, okay? So let me read these. If you have any questions, please ask me, okay? You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to talk to a lawyer and have him present with you while you're being questioned. If you cannot afford to hire a lawyer, one will be appointed to represent you for any question, if you wish. You can decide at any time to exercise these rights and not answer any questions or make any statements. Do you understand your rights? Do you have any questions on them?
I don't have questions on them.
As we understand, you talked to a lot of deputies at this point. A lot's been going on. He and I have not been present when you talk to the deputies. That's why we want to hear your stories straight from you, rather than getting it from somebody else that you've already talked to. It makes more sense if we hear it straight from you.
Obviously I'm going to jail, but, do I need a lawyer, I guess?
That's your call.
My sister said just tell you guys what happened.
I'd love to talk to you and get your side of things, but it's entirely up to you.
What was the difference between talking to me with a lawyer present versus talking to me without a lawyer present?
Well, if you request a lawyer, we're done here. We're exiting here, and that it is what it is.
I don't know what that means.
Well, we can't offer you legal advice.
Correct.
So all we're here to do is to find out what took place. Like I said, you've talked to a lot of people up to this point. We just want to hear from you. If you don't feel comfortable talking to us, then that's fine too. That is your right.
Whatever happens, I deserve. So let's talk.
Okay.
You don't seem like a bad person. We don't know your name back here, and you have like no criminal history. So, like you come from a good family.
They're all cops.
Comments like, "You don't seem like a bad person," and interest in her background signal regard. That fosters liking and triggers subtle reciprocity. The more the interviewer offers respect and attention, the more the subject tends to give back in detail. This isn't friendship. It's calibrated prosociality that lengthens answers and reduces resistance.
For a number of things, because I recognize there was issues of, blending families together, because he had 2 kids with his ex-wife, and just all the dynamic that goes with that. And then also, an expression that she had some, OCD was how it was always kind of described to me as just, compulsive behavior, washing hands, things of that sort. Mm-hmm. And from talking with Melissa, and it's common knowledge that she was on, medication to help with that, or anxiety, or whatever it was, with that. So, maybe David did. That's kind of the concern I had probably in the last week. It was pretty intense along those lines. But
can you expand on that? Like, what do you mean?
Well, I mean, he was calling, reaching out to me, just saying, "Hey, I just need to make you aware of the fact that Melissa is off her meds." So I said, "Well, what does that what does that mean? What does that look like?" He's like, "Well, I'm starting to notice some behavior here that's really concerning, and so I need to process or figure out a way to be able to address this without it becoming,
Just walk us through.
Can I call my dad?
We will let you at some point.
At some point?
Mm-hmm.
But I can't call him first to get his advice on whether I should.
You can request to speak to an attorney. See, and here's the reason behind it: is a family member or friend or something like that may distort what you're about to tell us, and we don't. That's why I said, rather than us talk to the deputies that you talk to, we'd rather get the story straight from you. I don't want anybody to distort whatever's you're fixing to tell us, So, I understand you want your dad. I understand you want to see your sister.
How long will I go to jail?
I have that's not on he and I. I have no idea.
Well, it's your job to find out what happened and then report it to
The state attorney.
It's our reports that they get as far as our interactions and, how you're being very remorseful. Just because things happen doesn't mean you're a bad person.
What do you want to know?
We just want you to walk us through the story of what took place.
What happened?
I mean, we don't know the when, the why, the things like that.
Y'all found him?
Well, we haven't gone to the house. There is other officers at the house.
You're taking him away already?
No.
Not
He's
yet.
still laying there.
We're going to get them all processed, okay? And then we're going to take care of them.
This happened yesterday, I'm assuming?
Yes,
In the morning or the afternoon?
lunchtime.
Lunchtime?
We had just gotten back from Publix and he had picked us up some public subs.
They invite Melissa to walk us through the day, letting her hear herself construct motives and actions. As she narrates, she infers her own attitudes from what she says, self-perception. The more she commits to a coherent account, the harder it becomes to pivot away from self-authored admissions later.
Talked a lot. He was texting, but mostly just conversation-wise, just talking, "Hey, what do I do here? Is this?" And towards the end, he said, "Hey, I got on Thursday." So the Thursday, he said, "Look, the kids are afraid of her now." So the ex-wife is saying, "Hey, saying she's really afraid of Melissa and just freaked out by her." And he's like, "I've got to address this because now it's the kids are afraid around her because she would become very explosive, I guess, like snapping at them over different things along those lines." And so even on there, I said, "David, hey, if you touch these dishes, so why don't you just clean them?" "Oh no," she said, "if I touch those dishes, I'm going to regret it." That kind of stuff. So I'm like, "David, this sounds like threats to me. Do you feel in danger?" I asked him, "Do you feel any danger?"
They're still in the fridge. We didn't even eat them.
And then from my understanding, I guess an argument started.
The argument has started that morning. I was woken up to an argument. I told one of the guy I was talking to earlier that I have OCD, and I like struggle with like washing my hands, and like there's a amount of dishes in the kitchen right now. I struggle with that and laundry and stuff, and
So the argument was kind of like based on chores, the house and things like that.
he did the cooking, I did the cleaning.
Right.
I did dishes because I insisted on doing the dishes, even though I struggle with it. I like them done like right or a certain way, or like because
Sure.
I struggle with that
I
stuff.
understand. We all have a little bit of it to an extent, maybe not the extent that you're saying, but we all have a little of it, at some point.
He woke me up. I've been sleeping on the couch, and he's been sleeping in the bed, and I've been sleeping on the couch for a while.
How long's a while?
A couple months.
A couple months.
How long you guys been together in total?
We met in 2015. August of 2015. We got married in September 2018. So, yeah. But yeah, we've been fighting lately. I've been sleeping on the couch.
Any fighting over anything particular, or just typical married couples?
I can't even tell you at this point anymore. I don't even.
Is he violent?
Mainly my OCD. We fight about that because I struggle with that a lot. Is he violent? No.
Are you violent?
No. Yes, I guess.
Well,
Melissa paints a domestic frame. OCD, chores, sleeping apart, then a truce and a Publix run for subs. Detectives let her set that calm before the storm. Later, they'll test each calm detail, because peace right before violence is rarely clean.
And married in 2010, and when did you two separate or divorce?
I don't know the exact date. I have to look it up, but it was in the summer of 2015.
Okay, fair. So summer 2015.
Mm-hmm.
So in the 5 years between 2010 and 2015, can you just go through that marriage and tell me, the nature of it? Was it a good marriage, bad marriage? Was there a lot of arguing? Any violence, anything like that?
Yeah, no, it was great. He was a really great man. He was very kind, very gentle, very loving. He never, we hardly ever fought at all. We got married in college. I was getting my master's and he was getting his bachelor's, and we didn't live together before we got married. We got married and then moved in together.
so you've been around law enforcement and guns and things like that pretty much your whole life, right? And your husband has also, sounds like, an avid hunter. He's been around guns and everything.
He was a cop out in Arizona.
Was he? So you guys used to live out there, or just him?
Him and his ex-wife lived out there, and then they moved here before they split, had the kids and split.
Other than Saturday, how many times do you think you've put a gun on yourself because of arguing and wanted it to stop? Never resulted to, of course, what happened Saturday, but how many times do you think you've done it?
That was the first time I've ever done that.
Has he ever done that?
I wouldn't know, but I don't think so.
Has he ever pulled one on you?
No.
So when you get the gun out of the drawer, and you said he charges you, do you say anything? Are you yelling at him? Is that what catches his attention?
No, he had my attention because he was looking for the rise.
So he's looking to get a rise out of you.
He wasn't even trying to do the dishes. He just started like picking cups up and moving them around. He just thought it was funny.
Just to piss you off.
But were you yelling at him because of it?
I was asking him to stop. Yeah, I was yelling for him to stop.
Stop. But at some point he's got to notice that you're getting the gun out, right? And then he starts. What's the distance you think between the kitchen and where you said you got the gun from?
Bear in mind, we haven't been to the house yet.
Yeah.
open the door? Maybe that wall
Maybe that wall.
where he was.
Was he by the sink?
So not too far then. So when you started pulling the trigger, was it just a repetitious thing, or did you just a couple times and stop, or?
I don't know.
Prompt about distances, rooms, timings, doors, and object positions invite verifiable anchors, features that physical evidence can confirm. Truth tellers naturally offer checkable specifics. Liars avoid them. By steering toward audit-friendly details, garage closed, positions by sink/door, round count, the detectives increase diagnosticity.
Yes, he never ever touched me in a wrong way. He was very kind and gentle and loving.
Ever abusive toward the kids in any way?
Oh no, never.
Okay. Okay. And so, from 2015, after you guys split up until now, was your relationship with him and his relationship with the kids pretty amicable?
Yeah. When he wasn't with Melissa, it was wonderful.
And did he run to the garage, and then you chased behind him?
Yeah.
Did he, when he saw you with the gun, did he say anything to you? So it was in the drawer. Did he see you pull the whole thing out? Or did he see it when you took the actual gun out of the holster?
I don't know. I don't know what he said.
The intent is what would cause him to think that you would actually pull the trigger? Because if I'm married, if my wife were to get in an argument, let's say, and she pulled a gun out, in my mind I would think she's not actually really going to do that. So why would he think that you would? To the point that he's got to run. Did you tell him you're fixing to shoot him?
No, I didn't say anything.
Does he just know you to that point that he believes that you would actually go through with it? Because that's a pretty bold thing. If I'm running to you to possibly get the gun away from you, you take the gun out of the sleeve, and then I take a hard left or right, whatever it is, to get to the garage.
It clicked.
The gun clicked?
It clicked, yeah.
Before it went off? Where was he standing when he was first struck? Was he still by the sink?
I racked it as I ran.
So as you're following him to the garage is when you racked it?
Did you fire any shots inside the house, or were they just in the garage?
Just the garage. Just the garage.
So you pull the trigger a couple of times, he hears the click, he makes the hard turn to go to the garage, you're chasing behind him, and you
I racked it as I ran.
You racked it as you ran. You get into the garage,
And I was just firing.
And he's obviously still running from you, right? Any idea what he's running to? Because the garage is closed, I'm assuming.
Oh, he was away.
He's trying to get away.
They let her commit to sequences before confronting with mechanics, e.g., the click, the racking, pursuing into the garage. With SUE, evidence is held back until after a firm statement, then used to reveal statement, evidence conflicts. The resulting contradiction pressures revision toward accuracy or admission.
So, and you and David, I'm assuming then, since things were pretty amicable, talked on a regular basis, communicated well with each other, whether it was as far as, the kids or anything else going on in your life, since I guess he came to you after you broke up with Melissa the first time.
Yeah, we had a really good relationship.
Okay.
When Melissa was around, he got kind of, not mean, but he was cold and wanted everything in writing on, emails. But when I would talk to him off the record when she wasn't there, like phone calls, everything was fine. We were fine.
Knocking stuff over,
Kind of look like that. Similar.
I guess.
That's what I was told was out there was one of these.
Okay. So he's knocking things over, trying to get away. Is the entrance to the garage closer where you guys were at than, say, the front door to the residence?
He couldn't get out. There was no way for him to get out. The garage was down.
So he couldn't get out. He's basically trapped.
He was just running.
And when you get in the garage and you're shooting at him, before the wrestling over the guns takes place, what's the distance at that point do you think you actually shot him? Same distance?
I don't know.
I mean, let me re-explain it. Are you closing the gap on him, per se, as you're shooting? Like, if he's ran to the corner, or he's ran to the door where the lawnmower is, are you closing the gap as you're shooting, getting closer and closer?
I don't know. He ran out there. He ran out there.
Was he by the garage door when he was struck?
I don't know when I struck him. I didn't think I had struck him because he was.
You're still wrestling with him.
He's still running and wrestling. Yeah, he ran and I was just shooting. And
do you ever remember the gun going off while you were wrestling?
it did. When he had me against the lawnmower, and he was trying to get the gun. I shot him from up close.
Not close.
He was just trying to empty it so that he wouldn't be able to get it from me and use it on me. And then he was still wrestling for it. And it was already cocked open. And it was empty.
When you two were wrestling with the gun, had he already been struck? You said it was empty.
He had to have been because there's bullet holes. So, yeah, I'd struck him.
Exact sequencing. When she chambered where he was standing, distances, whether shots were inside versus garage, forces high-fidelity reconstruction. Lying is cognitively expensive. Cognitive load reveals itself as hesitations, non-answers, or I don't know clusters at critical nodes. Her difficulty fixing order/distance contrasts with fluent admissions about arming and pursuit.
Okay. Was there anything about Melissa that concerned you?
Yes, my mom had concerns also about her when I would tell her what Melissa would do or how she would treat me and the kids. She, when they were first together before they got married, we were, I would see her at daycare often because I'd be dropping off my youngest son, Jet, and she would be dropping off Addison and Luke. And, you know, every once in a while we'd pull up in the drive-thru at the same time, and the kids would see me through her window, and I'd wave at the kids and just kind of wait a second so they could get out of the car so I could give them a hug because they saw their mommy and wanted to say hi. And she would sit there and ignore me and then drive off and not drop the kids. And then I called David, and I was like, I can't believe she's doing that. That's not okay for the kids. And he called her and supposedly told her to come back, and she came back and then saw I was still there waiting to say hi to the kids, and she drove off again, like sped off. She's done a lot of very strange things, and I've reached out to her multiple times, text, email, saying we need to get together, we need to get along for the kids, I want to get to know you. And she refused to meet with me and get to know me and talk with me. So maybe there was some jealousy there, I don't know.
Did he yell out like you shot me or anything like that?
He never even reacted like he'd been shot. I didn't think I actually hit him.
Was he yelling anything at you?
Words, no. I don't know.
Just trying to picture at this point you're probably like in a rage, right? In a rage to a point maybe some things are blurry, but as we talk they come back a little bit. But at the point you got the gun out, I mean, your intent was for him to die.
My intent was for him to stop.
What? You don't think he stopped when he ran to the garage?
Forget it. You just had enough.
You need some tissue. I'll get you some tissue.
Is my sister still here?
She is. Do you have any questions for us?
Well, yeah. What happens next?
Well, obviously, at some point, we're going to discuss with the state attorney the things that you just divulged to us, and the decision will be made. You will be placed under arrest and charged. I don't know what the charge will be at this point. And, there's a whole booking process and things like that. We told you we'd allow you to talk to your sister. We'll do that.
I'm going to be placed under arrest and charged today and taken to jail.
Yes, ma'am.
They name and validate states, remorse, exhaustion, stress, offering tissues and pauses. Affect labeling helps downshift physiological arousal, enabling more speech and fewer fight or flight deflections. Lower arousal improves memory access and keeps the subject engaged through difficult admission points.
But in the end, it kind of just put them in I think there were some financial stressors that were there.
So I don't think she worked.
Well, she lost her job. Yeah, I think she got fired. She always made out that she lost her job. I think she got fired because of couldn't get there to work, or said that she was asking off, or some strange situation along those lines. But that's where it's kind of like, okay.
And that had been like a year or two prior.
Yeah, maybe 2 years. And she was then doing, she was investing a lot into her house. So David sold the house and basically bought another house, but then when they finally got married, they moved all into her house, and she never put his name on the deed. So I don't know, that was always where I'm like, David, how come? And he was like, well, it just doesn't seem like a right time. But I think it was also he didn't want to trigger her or something of that sort.
That, and you have to, if there's a loan on the house, then
Yeah.
you can't just add someone to
That
it.
might be the case then.
How long was he until, when he went to the floor, how long until he went still?
I laid him out because he just let it him to be uncomfortable.
Did he fall like on his stomach, on his side,
He slumped.
between the lawnmower and the garage door?
But there's a point between that's 12 o'clock Saturday to what happened to today. There's a period in between. What did you do? Where did you go?
I laid down on the couch and I slept. I watched some TV and I cuddled my dog and I slept.
Did you ever go back out in the garage and check on him?
He was said before I left the garage.
The first time?
Did he quit moving pretty quickly once he slumped? Did you go anywhere last night? Or this morning? So your sister's this morning, correct? Did you go anywhere else before her house?
I told my dad I would bring back like this drill mixer, cement mixer that he had wanted or needed back to use to do his bathroom. He's remodeling his bathroom.
You took that to your dad's house first? How long were you there for?
If he wasn't there, I just left it by the front door. I went next door. My grandmother lives next door. It was like church time, like 11:30 or something. I went next door to see my grandmother. I just wanted to. I haven't seen her in a while. I wanted to see her and hug her and tell her I loved her.
Did you talk to her? Was she there?
She was.
They spotlight the cooling off window, TV sleep, errands, family visits, delayed reporting. By exploring actions after the shooting, they guide viewers and jurors toward internal attributions, intent/control, rather than external, panic/duress. The calmer, goal-directed aftermath supports an intentionality inference consistent with second-degree murder.
A day or two ago, Jason called David because I just couldn't deal with it anymore, and Jason told David that we think that Melissa and Addison, my oldest daughter, don't have a good relationship because Addison came home and she tells me when she's upset, and she said Melissa yells at her and uses a mean voice and it makes her upset. And Jason was concerned for, I never thought she would be violent with the kids, but just as a stepfather, Jason called David and said, just to let you know, I don't think Melissa and Addison have a good relationship, and we care about Addison and we don't want her to be upset, so maybe you need to talk to her about Melissa being mean to the kids. And that's the last time he talked to David, and I wasn't a part of that conversation, but Jason said he thought it went well and David was going to talk to her, so maybe that's what triggered her. I don't know.
They're at your house, the ones that are over there, they got, of course, legal reasons, they got to write a warrant, they got to go in there before they can actually get to your husband and the scene and all that kind of thing. Has anything been changed since you actually shot him? Like, did you clean anything up? Did you pick up any shell casings? So the gun laid right where you dropped it in the garage, right?
It's on that green tote.
On a green tote? Okay. And as far as the other guns, are other guns in the house, but they're in a safe, all of them? Okay. Nobody else lives with you guys? It's just you two, correct? All right.
There's 2 animals.
Are they there at the house?
My dog's at my sister's house, but there's a rabbit and there's a chameleon.
Do you want your sister to take those as well?
If she wants to, I don't want to burden her with them. I don't care what happens.
I mean, we don't want them to leave them there to die. But we will definitely see if she'd be willing to do that.
If she wants them.
Okay. You don't by chance know how many rounds your gun held, do you?
Not many. 5, 6.
5 to 6, okay. You load it yourself, or did your husband load it?
It's been loaded from years ago in the safe.
Okay.
I haven't messed with it or touched it. I don't even ever use the guns.
So you don't go gun practicing and things
I used to,
right.
like 10 years ago.
Once Melissa has admitted the act, detectives subtly confirm and expand her admissions by discussing logistics, like the position of the gun, her clothing, and pets. This leverages cognitive consistency theory, which posits that individuals strive to maintain internal harmony between their words and actions. By asking her to walk them through after she's already confessed, they make her defend and reaffirm the same story to preserve internal coherence. Each reaffirmation deepens commitment and erodes room for later denial.
If you have some time tomorrow morning, this is Monday, October 25th. Yes, can you do lunch? Yeah, that works. We can do salsa near the church. That's fine. Let me know time and I'll meet you there. Let's do noon. Sounds good. And that's where he was talking about, I asked, are you feeling safe? You need to get out of the house. She's making kind of these threats. I was thinking maybe you need to Baker act her. I didn't say that, but he was like, nah. And I think his brother suffers with mental illness. I met his brother for the first time when I did the funeral up in Macon, Georgia. And I think David had this kind of sense like, I understand mental illness and I can love her well. I mean, that was kind of the sense like, hey, Jesus has called me to love this woman who's a difficult woman to love. So that's where I'm like, and as a pastor, I can be like, no, don't do the Jesus thing. Baker act her ass.
I feel you.
It's kind of like, okay, all right. Well, you're law enforcement. You got a better sense of this. I'm here for you, but you got to make sure your kids are safe. That you're.
Do you have any injuries on you?
It doesn't work.
Right, I understand. You told me. Do you have any injuries on you? Accidentally, shot yourself, hit yourself, anything like that? I need to know about. Be concerned about.
No.
No injuries anywhere.
No.
Okay.
Is it possible to get something to eat?
Sure. Are you okay with pizza? Because they've got some pizza in here. All right, let me get you some pizza. If you want any more, just let me know.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Allowing her to make small choices about calling family, drinking water, or eating satisfies the self-determination theory need for autonomy. Feeling some control mitigates resistance to the major loss of freedom, arrest. People who perceive minor autonomy are less defensive and more compliant in high-constraint situations.
This is one of our crime scene technicians, and so what I want to do is, let me get a key. I have to take the cup off of here. I'm going to have to take your jacket off just so we can photograph you and show that there's nothing on you and that you have no injuries, okay?
After that, can I use the bathroom before you put them back on?
We can.
jackets off?
Yeah, just take the jacket off for me.
And you just stand right there with your arms by your side for me. Can you turn around for me? Alright, you can turn back around and just kind of hold your arms just like this. And flip your hands back over. Alright, any other specific areas you want?
Nope, that's good. The restroom's right here.
Thank you.
You may hang here for a little
Yes,
while.
please.
The offer of comfort, food, bathroom breaks, gentle tone serves a biological function beyond kindness. According to polyvagal theory, cues of safety, soft voice, calm posture shift the body from a defensive sympathetic state into a ventral vagal state, allowing social engagement. Once Melissa's physiology calms, her narrative remains continuous and emotionally accessible.
Ask you many questions on the phone. He was wanting to know if it was by gunshot. Put it back on the front of you, okay?
How long are we going to be here before we go somewhere else?
It's going to be a little while, unfortunately, because just like I was explaining to him, the officers are out there getting the search warrant right now. We have to know what we're looking at, other than what you just told us. We have to actually look at the scene before we know if and what properly to charge it with, if that is in fact what's going to happen. So it may be a little while. So if you need to take a nap or whatever, unfortunately it's not going to be too comfortable here. But if you need anything, just knock on the door or holler out. Okay.
I don't have a pillow, do you?
I don't have a pillow. But you, let me see if I got it. You can make a pillow out of it?
I'll appreciate it.
Okay.
Do y'all happen to have any migraine stuff?
I don't have any medicine here.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Lengthy waiting periods before transport, paired with assurances like take a nap, we'll get you a pillow, create low stimulation. Over time, this induces learned helplessness, a quiet resignation state where resistance feels futile but safe compliance feels predictable. By the time she's formally charged, Melissa is psychologically docile, unlikely to retract or contest statements.
So, learning this news that I just told you about, is it a complete surprise to you, or is there anything that sticks out to you?
I mean, I honestly thought they would get a divorce at some point, because David's he's very calm and kind of goes with the flow, and he's not like a dominating person. And from what I could tell, she was the exact opposite, and I felt like she maybe bullied him with her behavior and the way she talked to me, and the way Addison would tell me that she had heard them arguing, and he would tell her. Just the other day, Addison told me she heard them arguing, and David would tell Melissa, "You don't respect me," and the kids would hear that. But no, I mean, God, that's the last place my mind would go to violence. But I figured they would eventually get a divorce, and I prayed that they would eventually get a divorce because I knew she wasn't a good person.
I understand you're upset. Just a couple questions now that I've been to the house. His pants are undone and unzipped. Why is that?
I was trying to see where he had been shot.
Okay. So you just wanted to check where he was shot at?
I didn't know. There was no blood. There was no blood anywhere. And I didn't know. I didn't even know he was shot until he collapsed.
Yeah, I didn't see a lot of blood.
I was trying to find him.
It's a very small caliber bullet, so I'm assuming, I don't know, we'll know later, but I'm assuming the blood's internal because it's such a small caliber. Like I said, everything's just as you described. And we found the gun safe. Is the gun safe locked or does it have a passcode?
It was a...
That's really the only follow-up questions I had because, like I said, everything that you described to us is just as it is in the house. The car that's there, that's your car or his car?
It's our car.
Is there another car or is that the only car?
No, we just sold the other car.
Okay, so that is the only car. Okay. All right.
Hey, I've got some Little Caesars if you're hungry.
I had 2 slices of pizza already.
They did? Okay, perfect.
Yeah,
I'm just
thank
making
you.
sure I don't want you starving here.
If anybody has like Excedrin migraine, I would appreciate that. But if y'all don't, fine.
I'll see if I can do it for you. We do have transport coming finally, so as soon as they get here, they said they're just going to give you the ride down.
Detectives deliberately shift between heavy emotional topics and everyday matters. Her rabbit, pizza, migraine, or jacket. This alternating focus grounds the suspect back into ordinary cognition, reducing acute anxiety. Grounding theory explains that directing attention to concrete, sensory details restabilizes cognitive processing after emotional overload, keeping speech coherent and preventing breakdowns.
I'll see if I can do it for you. We do have transport coming finally, so as soon as they get here, they said they're just going to give you the ride down. So paperwork's all done. So basically, you are being charged with second-degree murder. Okay, you already knew this was coming. So basically, you're going to see the judge in the morning. The judge will set a bond.
Okay.
Sometimes they can do a no bond, or they'll just set a mid to high bond to see if you can bond out. Okay. Just take this. You got to take all this at one step at a time.
So one thing at a time.
You've got some hoops to jump through, and I think it's deep inside you're a good person. I don't think you're evil. So I think just you being straight up with everything that happened in good faith is a good thing. Again, it shows you're not a monster, that you didn't just, do that on purpose just because it was funny or something. I know you're going through a lot, and so one step at a time from here on in, okay?
Have his parents been told yet?
Probably by now. I know that we had a special victims unit detective go sit down with his kid's mom, and we're going to let them, explain everything.
The special victims unit is explaining everything to the kid's mom.
Yes. He met with them in person,
and then she'll be able to tell the kids whatever she's.
Yeah, it's balls in her court there to do that part.
And then so who does she contact? His mom, or will one of you guys reach out to his mom?
We can't. We're going to reach out and make sure. Everyone has our numbers too, so if they have questions and everything like that, they're going to get in touch with us.
The detective's tone is soft, reflective, and humanizing. I don't think you're evil. This is empathic mirroring. By mirroring her effect rather than opposing it, he creates an environment where shame turns into narrative sharing. Once the suspect feels emotionally held, self-disclosure feels like relief rather than threat.
We didn't get back down before we did before she came here. So.
Did you have 2 pairs of glasses here?
Those are mine.
Oh shit!
All right.
Very similar.
I'm going to handcuff you just for transporting reasons, okay?
Behind or in front?
I'm going to put them in back just because that's our policy. Not too long of a ride.
Dude,
I've been blind.
it just threw me off with this. Yeah, anyway, good.
Okay.
All right, then I'm going to I'm going to go down to 1019, and I'll just be waiting down in this alley door. And you go there. Gentlemen,
Okay, that's those two. I'm going to double lock them, make sure they don't get too tight. Or make sure they don't get tighter. Okay, do you have anything in your pockets?
I
or
just put my
anything?
chapstick in that.
Just your chapstick in that pocket right here?
Yeah, with this one.
Oh, this pocket right here. Okay, I'm going to use the back of my hand just to pat you down. Okay.
what's a good luck to you?
At the end, as she discusses minor items, glasses, chapstick, pets, the detectives allow identity restoration. Restoration theory in crisis psychology holds that reintroducing ordinary routines after trauma stabilizes cognition. For the detective, this closes the loop. The suspect's return to normal speech confirms acceptance of guilt and readiness for custody. In the case of Melissa Golson, the Clay County Circuit Court in Florida sentenced her to 40 years in state prison after she pleaded guilty to second-degree murder for the killing of her husband, David Golson, in October 2021. The sentence was delivered by Judge Stephen Whittington as part of a plea agreement that allowed her to avoid a trial. Prosecutors detailed that Melissa retrieved a .380 caliber handgun during an escalating domestic argument, pursued her husband into the garage, and shot him multiple times, resulting in his death. Investigators found no evidence supporting self-defense, noting that David had not acted aggressively. The court acknowledged Melissa's lack of prior criminal history, but emphasized the deliberate nature of the act and the devastating consequences for the victim's family. The 40-year sentence reflected both accountability for her actions and the serious nature of domestic violence-related homicides.